We remember the tale of Olav Asteson, who slept 12 days and nights, for it happened one winter that a terrible cold came upon his Norwegian village, and to him there came a memory. Though his limbs shivered and his feeling waned, he was warmed by the recollection of a story from childhood, which told of a cave through a passage in a nearby mountain where a seeker might have his questions answered. "Ask out loud what ye will, O wanderer," so had the story gone. "And lie down in the stony darkness for to sleep, then will knowledge come to you in dreams." The cavern of that mountain was one of the vessels in which Odin had stored the mead of wisdom which that venerable one gained from the inner world. So the old-timers once taught, therefore did Olav Asteson go to spend the night alone and unprotected, for he wished to learn how his village might survive so biting a winter, as none could recall ever afflicting them before. It was the night of December 24th when he entered the blackness and asked his question, wrapped in what layers he owned. Then, after midnight, he fell into a deep and abiding slumber, whereupon his spirit was taken up into the air, ascending to the very edge of this, our sublunary realm, and allowed to walk upon the craterous deserts of the moon. Touring a catalogue of post-mortem fates, he at first glimpsed abodes of horrendous purgation, where those who remain under the lunatic sway of selfish desire dwell. Each day and night he slept, he was shown a different manner of suffering. He saw the figures of them who are ungrateful, who dim their curiosity and are jaded before every joy, of them who can let nothing go and are weighed down by resentment, of the grave ones who never laugh, of them who sleepwalk through life and waste it, of the greedy ones who covet, wanting most of all to have whatever others want and deprive their neighbors of it. And each suffering figure he saw faded into a dusty distance, even as it reminded Olav of times when he himself had fallen short and been unkind, coarse, had left righteous work undone. The moon shone bright, and all the paths led far away, repeated Olav's melancholy refrain. But then the moon reminded him of the waves of the sea and all the good she does, and of the sun, whose light she reflects. And so he was also given to remember joyful times and acts of love, when in his village there had been gratitude and forgiveness, levity and even-handedness, piety and tenderness, and care for others. With this, Olav came to a bridge called Yala, guarded by 3 beasts, untamed monsters of his own soul's making. In truth, they were 3 heads attached to a monstrous body. One of these beasts was made of hateful thoughts, harbored against his fellow man, and the other was made of every time he had preferred comfort to charity, selfishness to love. The middle head, which was the most fearsome of the 3, was made of just that, his fears, especially the fear of death. But Olav was a good man, and repented of all 3, and as the 3-headed beast became tame, it stood to one side, so that Olav could see ahead, up the shining bridge which was made of sunlight. And he saw how it led to exalted paradisial estates, realms of surpassing beauty. Presently he was greeted by a woman standing with him on the moon, who was dressed in the same light out of which the bridge was made, and who wore a crown of stars. When he turned to her, it seemed to Olav that each star on her tiara was a tiny world alike those paradises he could see beyond the moon. The woman spoke to him of the maker of all he now surveyed, and also of her son, who, she told Olav, had come to the world when a terrible winter threatened to freeze the hearts of men, and had taught them how to survive it. With this, Olav finally got the answer to his question. And now, awakening in time for Mass, to which he quickened, Olav recounted all he had seen and learnt to the people of his village. The villagers, who had thought him dead, frozen along some mountain trail, listened to all he said in amazement. So, how did they survive? By loving one another. Those with more shared with those who had less. Those with leftover firewood and extra blankets gave these away in charity to the ones who lacked. And all worked together diligently. Their faith and their gratitude for the good things which their village enjoyed guided them and increased them. Thereafter, even many generations later, they would relate the tale of good Olav, who ascended to the heavens one Christmas and for 12 days traveled in the beyond, finally returning to earth on the day of Epiphany.